40 years ago, we opened our doors with one mission in mind.
We'll be right back with the top 10 songs of 1983.
To sell quality American-made vehicles at a fair price.
You have arrived.
And we've loved every minute of the ride. Celebrating 40 years of Two Rivers Ford.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans added to the wide receiver room on Wednesday, signing free agent Chris Moore. The 29-year-old former Cincinnati product started his career in Baltimore, but had a career season in Houston in 2022. 48 catches for 548 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Big Orange Caravan was in Nashville at Nissan Stadium yesterday. Tennessee basketball coach Rick Barnes was in attendance. And news on Wednesday as the Vols added a transfer, receiving a commitment from Harvard transfer Chris Ledlam, a first-team All-Ivy League player last season. He led the Crimson in points and rebounds. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
To make you 104.5 The Zone. What's up, everybody? We are officially one more week of Season of Lies. And then actual people start getting picked. 1 week out. One more week of lies. We got Brady Quinn and Ryan Clark fighting about C.J. Stroud on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, man.
See that? You see how that stuff happens?
Yeah, that's getting ugly.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they were talking to each other. He just commented on social media, maybe?
No,
or maybe on his
They're
podcast.
talking to each other now on social media.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Because so what was the gist of it all? I mean, something about Stroud stood up the passing academy, right?
Stood up the Mannings.
Yeah.
Brady Quinn said that in a
Manning
podcast.
Right. And he said it so, I listened to that. He said it so easily, like it was like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's valid or not, where I think Ryan Clark was like, no, he didn't. He told him he wasn't coming, and then he stayed with his teammates and worked out with his teammates the whole offseason, right? Which then, see how that could shed a whole different light on what was said.
Right.
See, they're totally different. So, what do you believe is true? Here, what do you think is true?
I don't think he stood at the Mannings. I don't think he did that. I mean, he may have been wanting to go or was on tap, and I don't know. Maybe he was on tap to go at one point, and maybe he told the people who mattered and said, look, I'm just going to stay in Columbus. I don't want to come down there. I'm throwing with my guys every day. I'm doing this. I don't think he just stood them up.
Yeah. You know what I think happened? I'm just guessing. I have no idea. Just kind of listening to both sides. I think he never gave them a firm yes, but he never told them no either. And so when it got down to the day or before, they said, hey, we need a commitment. He then probably said, I'm staying here, and I decided I'm going to just stay and work out with my teammates. That's probably a little more important than going to the Manning passing academy. I bet that's what happened. And so from the Manning Academy point of view, they're saying, well, dang, you stood us up. We've been promoting like you were going to be here because you kind of alluded that you probably would, but you just wasn't sure.
Right.
And then, so that's kind of how stuff like that happens. Here's what you learn as an athlete. And I think, I heard C.J. Stroud in an interview, and he said it right on point. I actually sent it to my son, is because, hearing from another young guy instead of from the dad is kind of a little different. He said, you just realize that people are going to say good things about you. They're going to go say bad things about you. So you don't try to maneuver and be something that you're not. You just continue to be who you are and don't worry about what people say, because they're going to say whatever they're going to say anyway. So it really doesn't matter. That's what he said. And so I think a lot of youngsters really need to, especially athletes, because at the end of the day, people don't want to hear negative stuff about them, especially if they're not true.
Right.
So, and especially the way athletes are built, especially mentally, unless you're super advanced, those are things that really can be used for motivation in some senses, and also can hurt you if you let it infest in you, at the same time. So, so it seems like to me he's a high character guy, and I want to believe whatever he said happened, to be honest. So I the first thing I want to hear was, where did Brady Quinn get this information? I mean, who told you this? Because that then will let us know if it was true or not. Because if it came from the academy, then they said it, then, okay, then let's justify this and take it to C.J. Stroud. Right. What happened? Yeah. So, it is. But I don't think it hurt him by any means as far as his draft stock or anything else. But you know what I am buying into, though? You helped me, but then I asked a question yesterday is Texas may not take a quarterback with number 2 with them having a second pick at, 12?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they may. They may because there may be a quarterback and probably will be at least one of the top 5 there at 12. At worst case scenario, if they have him ranked 1 to 5 and Hooker's 5, you take him. If Levis is there, I think you take him. I mean, I just feel like that's where we're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
So
2 and 12, they got options. 2 and 12.
yeah.
You could literally get the best defensive player on your board in the whole draft, and then you could get one of the top quarterbacks at 12.
Yeah, I heard John McClain say it in an interview too, so that's really gave it validation to me.
See, don't believe me. I mean, the man in
I
black,
believe
John
you,
McClain.
but I didn't happen to hear that. I was like, whoa.
So he thinks double dip gets a quarterback at 12.
Yeah, because I think that one of them will be available at 12.
And then Nick Caserio's had to fight off rumors about him just leaving after the draft.
Yeah, they said that's not true, but yeah,
That's not true.
I don't. It feels like somebody's trying to be very mischievous within the organization because somebody put that out there for that to get out. Mm-hmm.
McClain had to refute it.
Yeah. That tells you how stuff gets started, and it's not even true even at that level. And probably even worse at that level, just because, if you're at an executive level, somebody who ran with that had to be someone of importance who told somebody, then they, put it out there.
And the thing to remember with all of this is if a team is further back and they want a guy to drop to him, hey, man, we heard this guy's got some concerns about it. You want him to drop.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you didn't hear this from me, but, this dude, he stood up Archie Manning and them, man. You didn't hear that from me. Really? I don't know. You didn't hear it from me.
Yeah. I'm not used to being in those conversations, but you are.
I've never been in those conversations.
I'm not in those conversations, man. So, I don't get privy to information. So that's why I just give my own uneducated opinion. Educated opinion.
Well, I mean, you lived through all this stuff, but there are always things you find out later, it wasn't true. It was shades of gray. It was like the Stroud thing. There's got to be some in between on this, like you said. Maybe just never gave him a firm yes, and eventually said, okay, I just can't do it, guys. I'm going to stick around.
Well, here's what happens. Just imagine this now. Ryan Day is in your quarterback's head. Hey, man, you want to be at the passing game, or you don't want to work to help our team get better. Don't forget now, these head coaches are very selfish, and they want to win. Hey, man, we got a chance to win the national title. So, I mean, you make your decision. I'm cool either way. And that's all you got to do is do that. And then he's like, I can't let my teammates down. I want to win this chip. Now, Lucas, on the other hand, he would have left and went to the Manning Pass Academy.
They have some fun down there. Lucas likes to have fun. He likes the food. Lucas
it's like summer camp.
Yeah, it's like summer
for
camp.
quarterbacks.
He would have said, hey, man, can we do some fishing? Because, I love eating, so I kind of want to,
Not a big fisher, though.
Oh, really?
But an eater of fish, though.
I'm an eater of fish. Yeah. I can buy into fishing if we are going to eat the fish.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be fishing for Hooker because Hooker is visiting the Commanders today. On Monday.
Do we know
what pick are the Commanders?
Where all is Hooker been? Lucas, do you just have that in your Rolodex of ideas?
I know. Let me see what I can find.
Well, here's what I'm about to say. I don't think he's going to be ready for training camp. I have no source to any of this.
Commanders pick 16, by the way.
Yeah. How many places has Hooker been to? How many visits?
Working on it.
NFL visits.
And
that's why I'm saying that.
It's hard.
And I have no. I'm hoping he is ready. Man, he had a torn ACL. Flying in the air is not a good deal for any type of injury. I'm gonna just say that, especially lower body. I mean, if my ankle was sprained in the game and we flying back, that thing swelled up like a balloon when we got on them plane. I'm like, hey man, we need to put a compression sleeve on this ankle, knee, because this thing is bothering me. And so you up here trying to drown yourself in anti-inflammatories, and it ain't working. Nothing. So all that flying off an ACL, see? They don't care about you, man. You better be ready on when we start training camp.
He's definitely visited with the entirety of the AFC South, with the exception of Jacksonville.
See? He's at least been visited, I bet you,
Giants,
10 teams.
Yep.
The Giants. I saw the
New
Daniel
York
Jones
Giants. He's about to visit the Commanders. He's visited the Raiders.
deal. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Hooker, though, man.
Packers.
Saints.
This dude.
This says also that he is the Buccaneers. Throw them in the mix too.
Ooh, I like that fit there with some weapons he's got.
I think we just
Maybe
covered
not
them all.
Yeah, I know. So he
Buccaneers.
visited at least 10, didn't he?
Right around there.
Because people now are starting to feel like, the teams, he's probably the third best quarterback in this draft, for sure.
Tampa Bay picks at 19. Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of people are saying he should go at the bottom of the draft. When you start saying for the first round, you start saying, well, what's keeping the team from drafting him at 15? Okay, 12, 11. Tighten up. Tighten up. Meanwhile, speaking of the Titans signed a wide receiver a couple of days ago. Did you know this?
I knew it.
You knew this.
This
I knew
dude.
you knew this. And I knew this too.
Tim Kelly knew this dude because they were together in 2021.
Exactly.
The Falcons signed Titans and the Titans signed Texans. That's just what happens.
Circle of life.
I guess so.
I don't understand why that happened. It's almost like one organization trusted the other organization when they had him on the team, but then when they cut him, like, oh, we can't wait to get him.
Let's get this guy.
Oh man, what do we even know what he did against the Titans? I looked up his stats last week when he's a journeyman. I think he played 7 years or 8 years in this league, or he's going on 8 years, something like that. But he had his best year with the Texans last year because they had some guys get hurt, Cook being one of them. I feel like he's a better version and maybe even faster version of NWI. That's what I feel based off of what he did last season. Because I still didn't know who he was. I had to go look up. He had some decent stats last year, but that was kind of his best year. It
was his best year. He started.
It wasn't a better special teamer though than NWI.
He started 7 games. That's the most of his career. He had 48 catches, 548 yards, 10 catches, and 124 yards came versus Dallas. Like they had nobody else. He got
He took advantage of his opportunity.
He did.
What's his size? He's kind of a tall. I think he's like a 6'2" guy. I think who runs fairly well. So
6'1", 200.
Yeah. So he got a nice build to him.
He's about Lucas's size, 6'1", 200.
That's why I say he's an NWI. I think he's a tad faster, but that's probably what NWI's career is going to end up being, somewhere around there.
From Orlando, which is where NWI
he
is
is
from. He went to school in the Midwest. He went to Cincinnati. NWI went to Indiana. They're the same person. Although NWI is bigger than that, isn't he?
What you mean, taller? Or even big? Oh, I don't know. I don't feel like he's weighs more than 200.
He's 6'2".
Okay,
So they're about the same height.
yeah, they're essentially the same person.
Yeah.
So they
this
signed,
one's just older, and he'd probably be the fourth. He's a security blanket, fifth, sixth guy type guy. Yeah, and I hate to say it like that, but man, he you know what? I respect dudes like that because he believes and he got the opportunity and he showcased what he could do. 500 yards. Watch this. What was NWI stats last year?
NWI.
Lucas, you supposed to know the stuff off the top of your head.
397.
No.
397. 25 catches, 397.
Oh, he dipped from the year before, huh?
This dude almost doubled what NWI did.
So the year before that,
Year before,
the
he had
Bengals,
38 for 476.
476.
And 4
See,
touchdowns.
so he's better, yeah.
So in his best year, NWI, he's played 3. He hasn't done what this other dude has done in his best year.
I think this guy's a little faster. And I was watching some video because I really did not remember him. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, that's what intrigued me. And I was like, well, dang. And then I looked up his stats. I said, let's go here. Let's see if he was just a special team guy. And I go, well, dang, how did I miss this? 500 yards?
He came out a while ago. I mean,
No, he's going on his 8th year.
yeah, he'll be 30 this fall.
In Baltimore, he played 66% of the special teams one year. He played 61% one year. He played 56% one year. And then for Houston, like you said, other things kind of came up. He only played 5% of special team snaps last year. So he had to play receiver.
And this could be a huge depth piece, security blanket. If they draft 2 receivers, he could be on the chopping block just on numbers.
Yep.
Just on numbers alone. See, so, yeah.
They got to draft 2 receivers, don't they?
I don't know, man. It depends on how this draft go. I am getting silly willy with this draft stuff, man. It's got to be here. It should be this weekend.
We have another week of this.
No, I am ready for it to just let's go.
We have another week of this.
Oh man,
Enjoy it.
I'm starting to go back around. It's making me change. Like I'm changing every draft slot. I'm picking the Titans at. I'm changing every week. We go tomorrow again. Watch this. I'm going all. I don't know. Well, I'm going
all pass rushers.
Yeah, man. I don't know what I may go all. Watch this. I'm going all DBs.
Nice. Get your guy Spoon up there.
Oh, man, I love me some Spoon.
All right, let's keep the draft talk going. Justin Melo from the Draft Network will join us next. Maybe you got somebody you want to hear about specifically. Slip a name in the Zone TV chat or tweet us at Blaine and Mickey, by the way. Follow us at Blaine and Mickey on Twitter, at Blaine and Mickey on Instagram. Follow now. Follow me. Us.
Hey, it's Kayla Anderson from 1045 The Zone's morning show, Ramon, Kayla, and Will, and I am a proud participant in this year's Visionaries of the Year campaign for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and I have a special friend with me now. Olivia, you are battling this as we speak, and I know that treatments, they're not easy, right? And Dare to Dream, that's a campaign that is pushing for safer treatments for younger people just like you. How old are you? 10 years old, and it's not easy going through this. Could you talk about what it's been like?
It's been just really hard with all the needles, treatment, medicine, all that.
Yeah, and this is something that you are going to win. You're going to win this battle, but we need all the help we can get to get the education out there. Our Dare to Dream campaign for, again, safer use in some of the things that are being done with the treatment. So Olivia, we always appreciate your time and we are proud of you. You are going to continue this fight and you can always donate. Every dollar counts. Just click on that QR code at the top of Zone TV, or you can just visit the Zone's website at 1045thezone.com.
Blaine and Mickey 1045 The Zone. One more week until the draft gets here. We're all busy just talking about draft stuff, and nobody's busier talking about it than Justin Melo, who joins us now. He's literally with the Draft Network. This is his whole life at Justin underscore NFL.
Is this your whole life?
Well, I mean, your whole work life.
No.
Busy.
Mickey said as though it's your whole entire life, and I believe it. I believe it, man, because you know every player, know the man.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. Sometimes my wife tells me it is my whole life. That's what she says, so you're not wrong.
Hey, Brady Quinn's got some concerns about C.J. Stroud. Do you share those concerns?
Oh, that was your first. Oh my!
Yeah, that's what
man.
people are talking about. They're
I
all over
know.
the place.
I'm teasing you.
This is tough, right? Like, there seems to be some conflicting reports out there about him, right? I think it was the Brady Quinn came out and said how he ghosted the Manning passing camp and that was a red flag. And then someone came to his defense and said he did not ghost them. It was like a cancellation, and they were well aware in advance. There's all this hoopla about the S2 test, which I'm sure you guys may have heard about, right? Saying that this is a cognitive test that really has done well over these last couple of years in terms of predicting good quarterbacks. Those that have done well have performed well, and those that have not done well on the test have sort of flunked out of the NFL. So there's a report out there saying he didn't do so well on that test. It's hard to say, right? Like, when I watched him play football, I never came to the conclusion that he struggles with processing information, right? Like, I thought he's a good decision maker at Ohio State. He's accurate. He's still my guy. If the Titans are looking to pick a quarterback or move up for one, Bryce Young is off the table, right, in my opinion. Bryce Young's going number 1 overall to the Carolina Panthers, so that's not going to be an option. But if they can move up for a quarterback, I think CJ, should be their target ahead of Anthony Richardson and Will Levis.
So you're Justin Melo, again, the Draft Network, our guest. So you interview tons of prospects every year, tons of prospects. How do these negative things get started? It has to start somewhere. And, there was nothing ever negative about C.J. Stroud. Now, about a week out of the draft, he ghosted the Mannings. He didn't do well on that test. There's been other things with other guys. What's the genesis of those things?
Look, and before I get into that, if anyone could understand ghosting the Mannings, it should be those folks in Tennessee, right? I think Jeff Fisher wishes he had a chance to ghost the Mannings a couple times back when they had those, play dates within the division. But it's tough to say, Mickey. I think ultimately, we're a week out, right? In the draft world, we like to call this lying season, right? Like you said it, all this time. I mean, heck, you can go back to last year, right, when nobody wanted to draft a quarterback in the first round. Everyone said, well, just wait for next year, right? You wait for C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. Well, now nobody wants C.J. Stroud, and it's, wait for next year, right? Wait for Caleb Williams and Drake May. I'm sure we'll be having this discussion a year from now on something negative regarding Caleb Williams and or Drake May. So, sometimes it's wild. It's rival camps, right, who are trying to push up a guy, trying to push down a guy. Heck, sometimes it's even teams. It's general managers, right, who might like a guy or dislike a guy and want them to fall in their lap. The most harrowing thing I can say about that is this is an ugly business, in all honesty. It's a really ugly business. You can't put it past a general manager or a scout or a director of pro personnel to put something out there, negative about a guy in hopes that they end up falling in their lap as a result, right? There are a lot of promises made in this business. There are a lot of false promises, a lot of lying that goes around. So it could come at you from all angles, really.
Justin Melo, our guest at @JustinM_NFL, the Draft Network, as well as a whole bunch of local sources as well.
Well, Justin, we know you don't do any of that lying in the lying season, but you tell us facts and what your opinions are, and I really want to hear your different scouting report between these two edge rushers, because there's been a lot of talk that Tyree Wilson actually could go before Will Anderson Jr. Give us your breakdown of both of these guys and let us know who you think will potentially be the better NFL player.
So I've got a hard time with that one. And what I mean by that is by putting Tyree Wilson ahead of Will Anderson. Like, I'm a big Will Anderson guy. He's my number one player in this class overall, regardless of position. Look, I may have said this a few weeks ago, but last year when we were at the 2022 draft, and it goes back to what I said about the quarterbacks, everyone was saying if Will Anderson was in the 2022 class, he would have gone number one overall. And I believe that to be true, right? Because we had a bit of a surprise at number one with Trayvon Walker, a bit of a projection based on the athletic traits. If Will Anderson's in that class last year, he goes number one. There's no doubt about it. He's a Jacksonville Jaguar. He's a guy that converts speed to power extremely well. I will say the one, sort of negative trait you hear on him throughout this process is that Alabama schemed up some of those pressures for him, right? They were able to put him in good positions to win. And I actually had a really lengthy conversation with Will Anderson yesterday that you guys would not have known of yet. A good timing.
Yeah. I got your phone bugged, man. I knew that.
and I asked him, well, you know what I'm going to say then? I asked him about that. I said, look, it's really hard to poke holes in your game. If I'm even going to try, if anyone's going to try, we're talking about how Alabama schemed up some of those pressures. That was really one of the hardball questions I threw him. I said, well, how do you explain that to teams? What's your reasoning behind that? And I thought he gave me a really good answer. He said, look, I'm not, you're not going to knock me because I had really good coaching, right? Like, we hope it's the same at the next level, right? Coaches are there to put us in positions to win. Right, that's why they're there, to scheme things up, to gain an advantage, gain an upper hand pre-snap. And yes, Alabama did a really good job of doing that. Nick Saban is a mastermind of that. And I'm hoping I get similar coaching at the next level, that we'll be with a team that's going to put us in positions to be successful and get sacks and create turnovers and all those good things. I thought that was a great answer. In relation to Tyree Wilson, I have a hard time understanding why someone would take him before Will Anderson. The issue I have with that is I'm not even certain what position he's going to play at the next level, right? Like, he's got some of that inside-outside versatility. I don't know that he's quite explosive enough to play full-time on the edge. I see him maybe as like a Dina Kawatri type player for Titans listeners, or a guy that ideally you're going to play inside, right, next to a traditional three-tech like a Jeffrey Simmons. And that's where I think he does his best work. But you know what? If you find yourself in a pinch, like the Titans did this past year without Harold Landry and Bud Dupree, you can kick him outside. You can kick Tyree Wilson outside, and he'll get you through a game. He'll give you some good snaps there, even though he doesn't possess maybe the first-step explosiveness of your prototypical, every down edge rusher. I think he's got that outside-inside versatility. I love his length. I love his power. There's a lot to like about him. Don't get me wrong, and I do think he's a top 10 pick. But for me personally, it's Will Anderson, number one overall, all day long.
Well, let's go down a little bit, and I don't know if this guy's going to be, mid-round guy, but he's our edge rusher, and that's the Caleb Murphy kid from Ferris State, 6'4", 245. What do you see out of him, and where do you project what round for him?
Well, the most interesting thing about him is it's not getting enough attention. He set the NCAA all-time single-season record for sacks this year. I mean, that's an unbelievable thing to say. He had 25 and a half sacks this past year. I mean, I don't care how you're doing it. That's production. And the last player from his conference, the GLIAC, to have more than 20 sacks in a single season was another small schooler by the name of Matthew Judon, who's the New England Patriots now, and is like a 4 or 5 time Pro Bowler, right? He was one of the best edge rushers in the league this past year. So there's some interesting things to like about this kid. You love the production. Ferris State, D2, small school guy. I do think he'll get drafted due to that production. I don't think it'll happen before the 6th or 7th round, because when you do turn the tape on, you are able to tell that he's a bit of a small school guy, right? It's not 25 and a half sacks that are just, he's screaming off the edge. He's beating guys, inside counters, winning the outside shoulder. There are a lot of those plays that are hustle sacks, motor sacks. You love that as well, but it doesn't always translate to the next level, right? Like, you got to have some obvious natural abilities. And he's got some of those. They're moldable traits. They're tools that you like to work with. So I do think he'll get drafted. That production certainly warrants a pick, in my opinion, but I'd be pretty shocked if it happened before the 6th round.
All righty. Cool, man. We're on with Justin Melo, the Draft Network. 2 more questions, I guess, here with DBs. I'm always going to go there, and especially the cornerback position, since that's what I played in college. and that is the kid from Utah, the 5'9", 10 dynamo, Clark Phillips, and then compare him and kind of contrast him here to Riley Moss, the Iowa cornerback who I watched at the Senior Bowl, and, man, he was fantastic. He had good long speed. He was better than I advertised, at least for what I was thinking he was going to look like anyway.
So I don't want to butcher this, but was it Mark Twain that said it's not the size of the dog, it's the size of the fight in the dog?
Yeah.
Right? Or sorry, the amount of fight in the dog?
Uh-huh.
That's Clark Phillips all day long, right? Like, he's 5'9". I love him. I got a top 32 grade on him. That might be a bit rich for some based on the size. But I actually I got a chance to have a conversation with him the other day. That interview just published on the draftnetwork.com, I think yesterday. And I asked him about that. I asked him about the size. How are you explaining it? And look, he came to me as advertised. This is a guy that loves ball. His understanding of X's and O's is through the roof. He put together 3 years of excellent tape at Utah, which is a big program in my opinion. I love what Coach Kyle Whittingham has done over there. And look at some of the receivers he's had to cover. Turn on the tape this year. Watch him play against Jordan Addison twice.
Mm-hmm.
Him and I talked about that matchup a lot. He gave me a really good lengthy answer about the differences between both of those games and how he approached Addison differently in the second game than the first game. This guy loves ball so much. At the end of the interview, he thanked me. He said, "Oh, man, you don't know how nice it is, refreshing to do an interview where we just want to talk football." Because he goes, "It's hard for me to turn it off. I'm doing some of these mainstream media appearances. They want to talk about, some basic stuff, and I want to talk ball. I want to talk X's and O's all day long." He covered Drake London last year, when Drake was at USC. Mm-hmm. And when I asked him about that size, he gave me, I think, one of the best answers I've had. Because I'm telling teams, turn on the tape, show me one play in college where I got mossed. Show me one play where someone climbed over the top of me and caught the ball. The answer is zero. It never happened. And he had 10 interceptions at Utah.
Like my college.
There are obviously some size question marks there, no doubt about it. The majority of teams are projecting him to the nickel as a result.
Right.
But one thing he told me that kind of stuck with me a little bit is, he goes, there are three teams I've spoken to, the Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs, and the Los Angeles Rams. All three of them told me they think I'm capable of playing the boundary. They see me as a versatile player, can play inside and outside for them. Outside is not off the table for those three teams. My takeaway from that is, Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions. Buffalo Bills, routinely in the playoffs every year, got a great defense, a great defensive-minded head coach in Sean McDermott. Really good DB coach in John Butler as well. Los Angeles Rams, a little bit on the downfall. They did just win the Super Bowl, right? Sean McVay, excellent head coach. Three smart franchises, smart organizations that know how to scout young players, know how to put them in positions to be successful. All three of them love Clark Phillips. The way he compares to Riley Moss to me, they're very different. I'll give you a quick tidbit on Riley Moss at Iowa that I think you'll enjoy, Blaine. When we were on the phone with the Senior Bowl, had a little pre-conversation. It was me and about 25, 30 others in the industry. Jim Nagy, director of the Senior Bowl, was running us through all the players. When Riley Moss's name came up, Louis Riddick, who I believe you're all familiar with, ESPN analyst, has actually been a candidate to be a general manager in the NFL. He's interviewed for GM jobs, highly respected individual in our industry. Louis Riddick unmuted his phone. First time he had done it all call. It's about an hour into the call. And he said, "Hey, I love that freaking kid. That guy is unbelievable." And he said, "You know what?" And Louis Riddick, he said it himself. Because there are going to be some stereotypes with this kid because he's a white cornerback. Right? And we don't see a lot of white corners at the next level. Don't fall into the stereotype of saying, "Oh, he's a try-hard, he's this." No, he can. You said it, Blaine. He can open up his hips and run. He is fast. He is faster than fast. He's got a track background. Ran track at Iowa, ran track at high school. He has got long speed for days. I will say I do like him better in zone coverage. I think Clark Phillips, you asked me to compare them, is a little bit more versatile. I like Clark Phillips in both man and zone. I don't really like Riley Moss in man. But you know what? They played a lot of zone at Iowa, and he's really good driving forward. Keeps his eyes on the quarterback, reads the play, led to a ton of ball production. I think he leaves Iowa. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think he had close to 30 pass breakups, 10, 12 interceptions at Iowa. So they played a lot of zone. They asked him to play forward. He was really good at clicking and closing, getting his hands in the air and competing that catch point.
Great stuff.
Our guy Justin Melo on talking the NFL draft. You wrote about 3 targets for the Titans in the second round. Really good stuff.
I did. Yeah, I've tried to take a stab at it. I decided to look at 3 different positions. I identified guys that they've shown a lot of interest in, and I'm not a rookie, so try to do some dot connecting. Tyler Scott, the receiver from Cincinnati, It's going to be rich. It's going to be early for a lot of people's blood. I think he's going to go earlier than the general public thinks. Titans took him out to dinner the night before Cincinnati's pro day. Mike Vrabel was present at that dinner. Tim Kelly, offensive coordinator, other members of the coaching staff and the scouting staff. This was a very large dinner that they took Tyler Scott to. I was told they really like him, and I think he's going in the second round. He's got 4.3 speed, legit speed, 4.3 legit, all day long. I interviewed him a couple weeks ago. I was blown away with how technically advanced he is. I want to talk to him about speed. He had no interest in that. He goes, no, let me talk to you about how I understand how to attack leverage, how to create angles, what I learned at Cincinnati, playing in a pro-style offense, playing behind NFL receivers like Alec Pierce and having Desmond Ridder at quarterback. And all that came along with playing at an illustrious program like Cincinnati. Really smart kid. Speed is one thing he does. Mike Vrabel's talked about the need to get faster on offense. They do need to get faster. They're one of the slowest teams in the NFL last year, particularly at receiver. He fits the bill. I think he's about what they're about. I also signaled out Osiris Torrance, guard from Florida. They met with him at the Combine, had a formal interview. They also met with him the night before Florida's pro day in Florida, in Gainesville. So he's a guy I know they like. Look, they got a big hole at guard, right? They let Nate Davis walk in free agency. To me, they've got one starting guard right now on the roster, and that's Daniel Brunskill, the guy they signed in free agency this year. I'm projecting that Aaron Brewer is going to replace Ben Jones at center this year. So they've got a hole at guard. I don't think they have anyone on the roster that can fill it, right? Dylan Radin's late season torn ACL. Corey Levin's a swing interior guy, more of a backup. And then there's Jamarco Jones, who didn't play at all last year. He was ruled out for the season with an injury in August. I know when they had signed him, they were hoping he was going to compete for a starting job. I don't know that that's still the case. You draft Osiris Torrance at 42, he's plug and play. You're putting him at left guard, that's where he's starting. Last but not least, it was Cam Smith, the corner out of South Carolina. They have an underrated need at corner. I know everyone in Tennessee, Nashville, they want him to go offense with every pick. It's not that realistic, right? Look at corner. You got Christian Fulton entering a contract year. Sean Murphy Bunting was only signed to a one-year deal. Probably going to try to turn that into a more lucrative contract elsewhere if he plays well. Caleb Farley, Elijah Molden, can't rely on them to stay healthy. They essentially didn't play this past year. Roger McCreary, up and down rookie year, might be a better fit for the nickel than he is outside. They need a corner. And Cam Smith, they hosted him on a top 30 visit. He's a press man guy all day long. That's what Mike Vrabel likes to play. That's what Shane Bowen likes to play when they have the personnel to do so. They want to play man coverage. That's Cam Smith. He's been battle-tested in the SEC with South Carolina. Great testing numbers at the Combine. If he slips there to the second round, which I think there's a chance that he will, based on how deep this corner class is, wouldn't shock me if the Titans took Cam Smith there.
I would love that. I love those dudes from the South Carolina secondary. They ballers.
They've had a lot of them over the years, right? And they're ball players, and they come ready to play. They're pro-ready. That's what Cam Smith is. They run an NFL-style defense down there, and he'd be ready. If they draft that guy, I think he's starting week one.
I like that kind of
Who's the
party.
other guy from South Carolina? I forgot his name. The corner.
This year?
Yeah.
It's Darius Rush, right? The one that was down there at the senior. He had the best Senior Bowl out of any defensive back in the whole crop this year. He was unbelievable. Definitely did his draft stock a favor. I think he gets drafted top 100 based on that Senior Bowl.
Yeah, after they played Tennessee and beat them, I said those three secondary guys are all NFL, high-level NFL players. Nobody believe me.
High-level draft guys, Justin Melo talking the draft at JustinM_NFL. That last article, of course, with Titans Music City Miracles, the Draft Network. You can catch him all over the place. We'll get our people with your people. We'll try to squeeze in another, one last pre-draft appearance next week so we can keep this series going. Thanks for the time, Justin.
Can't wait.
You know where to find me, guys. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. There's a graphic out there, Pro Football Focus. They put out these graphics like one of these things, one of these guys, this thing might happen to them. And it was traded on draft night. And one of them is a Titan. And I think people will be mad when they find out who it is. Yeah, that's next. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. So PFF, them, they're the metric service, but they also do other intriguing things on their social media accounts. And they had this cool graphic they had made, basically about players, which one of these players could be traded on draft night. I think it was basically the wording. So it was a picture of DeAndre Hopkins, picture of Jonah Williams, the tackle from Cincinnati, Dalvin Cook, Austin Eckler, who said he wants to be traded, and Derrick Henry. He was the other guy. So 3 running backs, and they're all in one graphic together. And it got me thinking, and we're kind of up against the break here, but in the break, we'll formulate a way to put this in a poll. Because I thought about it this morning. I thought, no, we need input. Different circumstances that you would be okay with them trading Derrick Henry. Because some might say some Titans fans say there's no circumstances that I'm okay with them trading him. Others might say, well, if it was part of a quarterback trade, maybe. Well, if they really needed some extra pick or 2, I'd be okay with it. Or maybe it's a player swap. Maybe they're swapping him for, heaven forbid, a receiver somewhere. People need to understand this. I read Jim Wyatt's mailbag. Why don't we trade Derrick Henry for a 1 and a 3? Did y'all see that? Trading for a 1 and I love Derrick Henry.
I hate to tell you this, but
what could you get? Could you get 2 later round picks? Could you get? There's some good running backs in this draft. And then we don't have to pay those guys anything. Because if you trade for Derrick, you get Derrick's last year of his contract.
And a lot of pass-catching backs in this draft.
Like my guy from Tulane. Something has to happen for them to have more money. It has to happen. It's at 11 and change. They signed Neiman, the linebacker. So that's $1 million. His hit's $1 million. He's going to get that minimum. So that dude is. Let's say that.
No, we don't have that information yet.
These are both vets. So let's say each of them got $1 million. So that puts them at $9 million and change. And if there's any kind of little bump or this or that or the other, let's say it puts them right around $9 million. Well, it's going to take 6 and something to sign the draft class. They played 86 people last year and 91 the year before, so we know they can't make it through with no money to sign people off the street. So they need more money. They need more cap money. They need more money. They don't need it today, but they're going to need it.
Maybe we should say, and Lucas could help formulate it, who is more likely to get traded?
Oh.
Byard, King, for kicks and giggles, Tannehill. Just in case. You never know, in case they're going to move up and get a quarterback.
I think it's definitely Byard.
See, that's what I would say. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's more valuable to more teams, yeah. I would guess, at this point.
And Eckler's still saying he wants to trade.
Yeah. Running back stuff is dangerous, man.
Buda Baker is out there, but he wants to be the highest paid safety in NFL history.
And
is that the reason why he wants out?
Yeah.
Yes, he's requested a trade from Arizona. He wants to be the highest paid safety in the NFL.
He needs to stop that. And this is not, to me, the time to be, I know he's one of the better ones, but I just think this is not the year. Go out there. I think you need to collect those nice big chunky checks there at Arizona and take your lumps and maybe wait a year, man. That's a bad recommendation by his agent. And then he didn't do it at the beginning. Like, as soon as the offseason hit, when all the things are coming out, you're going to wait till now, like, oh, maybe we'll do it now so they can trade you before the draft.
Lonzo says in the chat, nothing less than a third for Henry.
No, I don't think they're going to get a 3, man.
You think that'd be the top?
Yeah. I think he's going to 4. I think it's going to be a 4th round pick. It could be later. It could be 4th, 5th, 6th, conditional. It just, he has to fit in their scheme and offense now. People don't understand. One thing that benefited him here is it's a run-based offense. Most offenses, the running backs are going out and catching the ball at the backfield. And I'm not talking about no swing and no screen passes. They also are great blockers. They're pretty good at everything, just not great at one thing, which is Derrick Henry is at running football. So I don't know, man. It's gonna, it's even smaller to say what team does he fit. And that was this whole argument is the same thing we had when he almost became a free agent when they gave him the money. So it hadn't changed. He's gotten better at it, but still hasn't changed. That's still not. He's a downhill runner. At the end of the day, nobody want to run into no 6'3", 6'4" running back with a running head start. You got to make those decisions during the week. I think it's gonna be tough. I think he's gonna be harder to trade than Byard. I think it's still tough for even Byard because of where he's at in his pay. It's going to be tough, man. I'm going to make a prediction that they're probably
We'll save it. Save it for the other side. Predictions from the Hitman.
Oh.
Next on Blaine and Mickey.
Take it to the bank.
It is 2:01. Good afternoon from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. I'm Lucas Panzica. 1 week out from the 2023 NFL Draft as top 30 visits wrapping up around the National Football League. The Tennessee Titans signed a free agent wide receiver on Wednesday, and 29-year-old Chris Moore, the former Cincinnati product, spent the first few years of his NFL career in Baltimore before a career season in 2022 with the Houston Texans, 48 catches for 548 yards and 2 touchdowns. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. It's the second hour of the Thursday show. So you're practically just in your weekend right now. So just go and click into weekend mode. Will Levis, he visited the Patriots yesterday. So he's probably in weekend mode now after a day with Bill Belichick. What do you think that's like, hanging out with Bill Belichick for the day?
Boring. Nah, just kidding.
Well, I want you to diagram
a lot of people say
me.
Bill Belichick is really
Completely different.
Yeah,
dude.
he's really fun to be around, and now we're talking about all football. So and then when it's quarterback, so he is who he is. I think it'd be fun, but I think he's going to be all ball, especially about a quarterback. It's just interesting. I just don't like how this parlay with Mac Jones, who had a offensive defensive coordinator who was horrible, and then his play dipped, and now it seems like the coaches are blaming him instead of the actual coach. I mean, that is horrible, and especially Bill Belichick. And Bill's trying to say that he was right. Like, no, you made a bad decision on hiring this guy as the OC when most of his background was at the DC side or defensive side of the ball. And it was shown, whether you want to say the weapons or whoever else didn't perform, Mac Jones looked like a totally different player, and they got in his head, period. And now they're looking at quarterbacks and talking about trading them and all this other stuff. Like, wow. Dang, man. That dude looked phenomenal versus the Titans. He took him to the playoffs his rookie year.
You were about to make a prediction. Was it that Mac Jones is going to get traded?
Yeah, well, what? Oh, I take that. I like Mac Jones. I take him with the Titans. I probably want him to be a little more athletic on the running side of it, but I'll take him. I think I like his decision making most of the time. He seems like a sharp guy, high character, quick thinker type guy. So yeah, I'll be all for it. If they want to just give him up for a conditional 5th round pick, I'm all in.
Have at it.
They're going to be like, Blaine, you crazy, man. We drafted this guy in the 1st round. I mean, that's all I got for you.
Take it or leave it.
But yeah, well, this is why we're going to. Take
Okay.
it or leave it. We were talking about the King and possibly maybe him getting traded.
Is this a new segment? Take it or leave it?
Oh,
I like this.
Oh, that was good.
Write that down,
Yeah,
Lucas.
write it down for us,
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Oh, you're going to sing a theme to this. That's
You
even
see,
better.
that's a song too. Lucas will find that too.
There's got to be a song out there called Take It or Leave It.
All right, we'll leave that. to our
You know what I
crack
was thinking
staff.
of? Take it to the limit. Take it to the limit. Yeah, that's what I like. But if somebody's going to get traded or released, I think it's going to be Byard. I think people are going to, set, couches on fire if it's the King. So, yeah, I think that is, if they have to do something, and I'm hoping and praying, and I think I'm basing off of how the 49ers operated in their upper management with Lynch and Shanahan and what they did with their quarterback, Jimmy G, and got him to come back for less. I think that's what should be happening here with Byard. And it has nothing to do with his play. It has to do with age, how much you're allotting for the safety position for both of those guys and him and Hooker and pay. And they, they're looking to trying to cost cut and with the salary cap. So give him a 3-year guarantee, $10 million a year for the next 3 years, and he'll come up a little short on his money, but he'll be the greatest Titan safety for sure, and maybe one of the best or top of the list guy, at least on defense, in Titan history. So I hope that it gets to that, because I don't think the market's going to be as big as you think when he gets out on the open market. Like I don't think he's going to get $14 million on the open market. He may get 10. It seems like the market's around 6, 7, 8-ish for him maybe. That's about it. So he's going to take a serious haircut from 14 to 8.
His salaries the next 2 years.
Or what?
13.6 and 13.6. It's not his cap hits. That's his salaries. 13.6, 13.6.
And they can't kick the can down the road, can they? Or they can, but
He's
they
got
already done
two
that.
dead years after that anyway already on his deal. They already got 2 dummy years on the end of it. So he's got 2 more years under contract and then 2 of $2.19 million dummy years in 25 and 26. And your thing was if you said, okay, what, 3 for 30?
Yep, 3 for 30.
I mean, he's only got 26 inch.
And watch it.
That's more than he's got left on these 2
Guaranteed.
years.
And I take him to 33.
Yeah, it would.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And 33 is when I got cut.
So he's got 27-2. Hey, he's got 27-2 left on his 2 years, this year, next year. So you've basically guaranteed him more money than if he played out the rest of his contract.
And I think any human being would be like, you know what? One organization, I win in the long run, but they may not guarantee him. They may, we'll guarantee you 2, and we'll give you half guarantee of the 3rd year.
Oh,
You got to
guarantee
negotiate.
for injury.
Mm-hmm.
But if you did that 3
I hope
more
that.
years, like you said, that put him right at about 33. At that point, like you have Kevin Byard Day, and he just retires after his last game. And, you know,
He's going to own the state of Tennessee. He's going to have the key. The key. Not just to the athletic department over there at MTSU.
yeah, he paid for that key.
He won't be the
Been giving
mayor
him
of
some money.
Murfreesboro. He'd be the mayor of Tennessee.
A lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth because a lot comes up about your Titans teams. You guys made the Super Bowl. You had a great defense. You had MVP Steve McNair. You had Eddie George. A lot of people still talk about that. But a lot of people still have a bad taste in their mouth because they saw Blaine Bishop in an Eagles jersey and Samari and Steve and everybody who were – and Derek Mason who were Ravens and Eddie George in a Cowboys jersey. I mean, I think people – Brett Kern in the Eagles jersey. I think a lot of people – Jarrell is a Bronco, and I know the timing was right, but I think it would be cool for somebody to see a guy finish as a Titan like Byard.
Well, see, and that's what's so funny. That's the fan in all of us.
Yeah. And
that's
the
kinda
league
like-
is just like, man, sorry, business.
See, that's the difference between college and pro. College is, you're going to be with that one team most of the time now with this TP and all that. It's all kind of crazy.
Well, if it doesn't work out. Yeah.
But in the pros, it's about business. It's about production. It's about where they can have needs and where they try to time up when we think the decline is going to start or when maybe you start getting injured because you didn't ever get injured. Knock on wood, therefore by it. So I just think it's different perspective. I know us as fans, we all want to see Byard stay. We don't want him to go. But Byard's going to look at it as a business decision as well. He knows what's going on in this league and why they approached him. High salary guy. With, as you mentioned, those kind of dummy years after this season. So, or maybe they let him just play through it and they just find a way to manage through it all. They may. And then it's a bye-bye birdie. But he had a heck of a year last year. And it's just hard to justify from, a fan perspective, like, well, why are we doing this? And it's about the money.
Yeah.
It's money. They don't have cap space. You just mentioned it. So that's why I think this is the time for him to say, put your ego to the side, and his agent, and say, hey, man, I'll take less, but what are you guys talking about? Where are we at? We talking about half? 7, I'll go play somewhere else. We talking about a little haircut, 2, 3, max 4. I think it's something amenable if you want to give him some guarantees to that with some years. I'm hoping that's what happens. I don't even know. I'm not a cap guy, so I don't even know how much that helps him in the cap. Do they have to cut him first and then, wait to sign up for a week or whatever it is or a day or however it works? And see, you let him out on the open market, you never know. Somebody could flip. I mean, this league is totally different. When I played, somebody could literally have a guy on their team and not just sign, but they've been on the team and say, well, Byard's better than him. We're going to cut this guy. We're signing Byard. Mm-hmm. That could happen in this days in the days of this NFL.
Maybe you could just call it an extension. If you put a year on it, maybe you just call it an extension. Because his contract is this year, next year, 2 dummy years. So maybe you say, we're putting a 3rd year on there. We're extending him. Then you just paint it in the way you want to paint it in.
But you're changing. So when you do that, then you can change the guarantees.
I think you can if you extend him.
Well, yeah, that's kind of where I'm hoping this goes.
Vin Marino called down here and explained all this. Vin, if you're listening.
Yeah, man, these are the questions I be asking him on the sideline. Like, oh, Blaine, you want to be an accountant? At a salary cap? No, sir. I just want to understand a little better. Some people don't believe in the cap.
Oh, there are people who don't believe that. I don't want to be that guy, although I'm fascinated by those people and what they do. It's amazing what they can do. The salary gymnastics people. I would have to think hard about what I would be willing to give up, though, to sit in a draft room. For you got to do it. I would love to sit in a draft room one time. I mean, I'd love to do it 50 times, but once, if I could do it once, just to see what it looks like. Because there's the corny movie Draft Day that I love that's so inaccurate.
Oh, yeah.
But at least it gives you just a fake version of it. You still get to live the excitement.
What was so inaccurate about it?
Just that they didn't know things about guys, the day before the draft, things
I
like
got you.
that.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
They're still trying to figure out why nobody went to Bo Callahan's birthday party the day before.
His teammates hate him.
I guarantee I'll watch that movie probably at least twice this next week, though, just to totally get my game face on.
Oh, no, it's fun to watch. I love it.
Well, especially when he tells him, take the deal, you pancake eating so-and-so. That's the line of the whole movie.
But does Byard have more value than King? And see, I think he probably does.
Heavy
as
P
crazy as that
agrees with
sounds.
you. He says in his own chat, Byard has more value.
He may.
Maybe that's the trivia question. Who has more trade value? King, Byard, Tannehill. We'll put that out at Blaine and Mickey on Twitter. Follow us there. We also need to get into a real interesting mock draft. Dane Brugler's beast. He picked all the picks for the Titans. He had them taking a quarterback. There was a key position that he did not have them taken. Let's get into this next, and we'll get that poll out there for you as well.
Hey, it's Kayla Anderson from 104.5, The Zone's morning show. Ramon, Kayla, and Will, and I am a proud participant in this year's Visionaries of the Year campaign for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and it is my privilege to be sitting here with Olivia. She is going through this battle right now at 10 years old. I know it has not been easy for you. You've been going through treatments and continue to. Why is it so very important for people to donate?
So we can get easier treatment options, and it will help the research of leukemia and lymphoma.
Yeah, and this is such a strong young lady, and every little bit will help. Like she said, the Dare to Dream campaign for safer treatments. This is not a disease that discriminates. It hits all ages. We've seen athletes that are dealing with that right now as we speak, but Olivia right here, she's going to win this battle, and we are here to help. So you can easily donate. Every dollar counts. Just click on that QR code at the top of Zone TV. You can just also go to 1045thezone.com.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. All right, we'll get to this Dane Brugler mock, but Eric in Franklin wants to jump in this discussion on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. When you call, we talk to you. Eric, thanks for calling.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to give you a quick little story. So my son and I, about probably 8-9 years ago, we went to see Draft Day. You mentioned that movie. And there was only 2 other people in the theater at the time, and I didn't think much of it. And then I realized that it was Floyd Reese and his wife were actually had gone to see Draft Day. So it was very exciting for me just to get to meet Floyd Reese in person. But the fact that it was only 4 of us in the theater, I just thought that was kind of funny, given that you mentioned that just a few minutes ago.
If you remember, and you do because you saw it, even in the theaters, there were so many NFL people in it. They used an actual, draft setting and filmed the movie. So everybody and their brother was in that thing. Heck, Floyd may have been in it.
Arian Foster starred in that movie.
Yeah, but not even as himself.
Not himself.
And I'll give you I just Googled it a while ago. It said that the budget for that movie was $25 million. So.
Well, I wonder if it even made 25 back. If it is from, watching online, then yeah, I probably did that. Eric, thank you. That's a great story.
What you talking about, man? They doubled down, man.
Rest in peace, Mr.
We're talking about it on air, man. They doubled down. They made $50 million.
Boy, that movie got.
That's a great movie. What are you talking about?
It got panned when it came out. I loved that movie.
Oh my, you love all panned movies.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Any movie that critics don't like, I'm usually like, well, I like this. And the critics like the movies that I don't like. If the critics say this is a terrible movie, I will always go to my wife and go, we should go see this. I bet it's pretty good.
What's another movie that was received very poorly that you liked?
Yeah.
My son and I have watched, and it's not even a good movie, but probably the most hated movie in the world is the Justice League movie with Batman and Aquaman.
Yeah.
People hate that movie. Every critic totally hated it. My son and I probably watched that movie 37 times. Now, he really likes it.
37 times?
I promise you. There was a time where we were watching it 2 or 3 times a week. He was little. You know how little kids get fixated on movies. But everybody hates that movie. I've yet to see the Zack Snyder one, but I don't have 3 hours to file away to watch it.
I was going to say, he did. Yeah. Rabble didn't make you watch that one over and over.
But he can't watch that one. I heard it. It's rated R.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, when they dip back into the water and release the different cut of Justice League. But no, my son and I've watched that a bunch of times. Everybody hates that movie. And with good reason. It's not so good. But anyway, there were others. Everybody hates mock drafts, and everybody's got one. Dane Brugler's got one, the Beast. He picked every pick of the draft. Everybody's pick in every round of the draft.
Dang, that's a lot of work right there, man.
Can you imagine? How many is that? 280-something people?
That's a lot of work.
And, I mean, you get past, like, the 5th round, you're like, hey, man.
I'd be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs if I did that. Like, what? Man. How much percentage do you think he's going to get right?
So Buck and I did the math.
20?
No.
On a 7-round mock?
I bet it'll be like 5%.
Buck and I did the math on Mel Kiper's last mock draft of 2022.
Was it just the one round or 2?
Just the first round.
Okay.
But what do you think Kiper got right?
Out of 32?
Yes. Like what percentage? Just give me a percentage.
I would say 4 or 5 out of 32.
No, he got like 54% correct.
What?
Yes.
Mel?
Now,
no, that was an outlier, right?
We gave him a couple where he said this player would end up on this team, and it didn't happen at that pick, but it did like 2 picks later because the team traded down, and they still took that player.
That still counts,
So we gave him benefit of the doubt on a couple of them.
54%?
Yeah, but as far as the players he projected to land at a specific spot, he got over half correct in the first round.
That pumpkin pie eating rascal nailed that one.
Now, last year's draft wasn't as polarizing as this year's draft, but... yeah, we were pretty blown because we were ready to come out of it saying, see, nobody knows what the – oh, okay, that's pretty good.
When you saw they got 11%, you were just going to unload on him.
Yeah,
He got half
that was our plan.
4%.
Yeah, we were very shocked.
So he got what? That's 17 of 32, right?
Yeah. Like it started with – and, you know, the top end of the draft was Trayvon Walker and Aiden Hutchinson. There were some in the beginning that you thought, yeah, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense. I can't remember who he had for the Titans.
But for 7 rounds, I don't know. Nowhere near somebody gets 54%.
That's what makes this year so bananas, though. We don't even know what's going to happen at number 2. there are dissenting opinions even on who is the best quarterback of the top two, although it seemed like it's going to be Stroud. But after that, the whole thing's a crapshoot.
Stroud or Bryce Young?
Young.
Because remember, people were saying he was going to take Stroud
2 weeks ago, yes.
Yeah.
So, or a week ago.
Shoot, in the beginning, right? Like, oh, no, Carolina loves C.J. Stroud. He may go first pick. Huh?
Yeah, and now that's like, oh, no, that's old news. It's Bryce Young all the way now. He did well on that test, so it's all him all the time. So Dane Brugler, his mock draft, he did all 7 rounds. The Titans have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 5, a 6, a 7. They don't have a 4. No matter what, it would be cool if they could manipulate themselves at least a 4 somewhere in this draft. It'll be real interesting to see what Rand and Vrabel and everybody, Varthon, I think is the name that we're calling them. They sound like a comic book villain. But whatever they decide to do. But it's hard to believe they'll finish this draft with only 6 picks, that something won't happen. But they had them taking, with the first pick, at number 11, and I think he's going to be there, Will Levis, quarterback, Kentucky. Boom, boom, boom.
I just felt a pain shoot up my neck.
Will Levis. Will Levis.
Do
you think he's going to be there at 11?
I'm going to just say this. Lucas made out there. Maybe you know. Why did he leave Penn State? Did he lose his starting job?
To Sean Clifford.
Who is not an NFL
Clifford,
player.
the big red dog.
That doesn't mean he's not the better player, but for whatever reason, the coaches at Penn State thought the other guy was a better college player.
He wanted to play in the SEC.
No, that was not it. He got benched.
He
lost his job.
Wanted to play in the SEC, man. He didn't like that ice cream.
I'm cool either way. It
Penn
really
State
doesn't matter.
Ice Creamery.
I think I'm ready for change because I think the team needs. Guess what? Are we going to the Super Bowl this year? You think we got a shot?
They had a shot 2 years ago.
The shot is they didn't shot their last shot, so it's time to start over. And then, everybody know I like Tannehill, but it's time to move forward. Now, if you want to hang on to him for one more year and let the guy develop, but I'm real big on throwing the guys out there now. I'm not a big proponent on I know a lot of people are letting them sit and, marinate. Watch this. Mac Jones went and started his first year. Why can't any other pick that goes 3rd, 4th, 5th start? Guess what? Get all those lumps. See if he grows. Guess what? He may not be the answer. You want to know sooner than later.
Yeah.
Before we get in that nice new stadium that's pretty much going to get approved after now. Only one more round of approvals coming up here. So, I'm cool either way. Levis, Richardson, even C.J. Stroud. I'm good either way with any of them. Let's rock and roll. Let's start this new era of a new quarterback. Let's see where we're at.
So this just has them scooping him up at 11. What would be interesting? And again, we're just sticking with Dave
he just
Brugler's
falls
mock.
to 11. Oh.
He just falls
Watch
to
this.
11.
I'm about to get you. What if Hooker is there? See, I'm such a ding dong. I take Hooker. Or I like Hooker over Levis. And guess what I say? Oh, well, his knee right. Well, this is the time where I may slow play and he doesn't have to play this year.
Right.
And we got Tannehill.
For a whole year.
And guess what? He can, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we even have, watch this. Hopefully Malik Willis, it turns into a number 2 quarterback. And we'll see what he's got if he has to play. See if he's gotten better over the year. As I said before, remember we were talking about it and somebody surprised us. Who was that we had on air? Told us he really didn't start quarterback to his, did they say senior year?
He wasn't a full-time, only quarterback.
Only quarterback to his senior year. He was an athlete, like he played everywhere. He played quarterback too, but he wasn't the full-time starter.
So that's 1 year of full-time quarterback, then 2 years at Auburn where you were
he
a quarterback
didn't start.
but not playing.
He did not play.
He only played a little bit.
And then went to Liberty.
Goes to Liberty and
blows it up.
And blows it up for a couple of years.
That's a long road to being an NFL starting quarterback. So we shall see where he's at next year. See if he continues to improve and gets to the level where he's a solid backup. Got to take baby steps to get there, but may have to, play. We never know. So,
number 2 pick.
No.
Cody, it looks like Mock, but I've heard his name pronounced Malk by just about everybody.
Talking about South Dakota State? You talking about Robert's
the big dude
cousin?
with no teeth.
North Dakota State.
North Dakota. I'm sorry, I said South Dakota.
He looks
My
like
bad.
Robert. We knew what you meant.
Yeah. That was Robert. He said he liked him because he shows his belly and he got the,
got the long, lovely locks like Robert.
He got it tied in a bow in the back.
Yep. 6'5", a little over 300. Actually played some tight end at North Dakota State when he got there.
Ooh.
He has been mostly a left tackle in college, but he is being called a guard at the next level.
Yeah, he's a guard.
I've heard less talk about him. He was kind of the talk of the
Senior Bowl.
Big jolly guy, and
Yeah.
played well, but I haven't heard a lot about him since the Senior Bowl. But in fairness, not much about any of the tackles
Or guards.
or just linemen in general.
Yes.
I like that he played tight end. That means he has some athleticism to him. They actually have a good tight end. A lot of people aren't talking about there for North Dakota State, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guy. What's his name?
With Philly. Goddard. Dallas Goddard.
No, they got another guy.
No, Tucker
Talking about a guy
Kraft.
coming out?
Tucker Kraft.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tucker Kraft. Go look him up. He's there actually on our guest that we just had on in the first hour. He's on his deal. His Twitter handle, Justin Melo. And so he's been getting some visits. I think that's where, North Dakota State, yeah. Check him out. You checking him out right now? No?
Tucker Kraft.
Yeah. Tight end. See what the prospects say on while we try to figure out. Maybe a guy, him and Dalton Kincaid from Utah are some later round guys I think can be productive, kind of Titan-esque. And by the way, Tucker Kraft visited the Titans.
6'5", 254, 4'6", 40, 34-inch vertical. Projectable skill set to handle pass catching and run blocking duties at the next level. He's a more effective blocker now. This is NFL.com. He's a more effective blocker in space than inline, but that is correctable with better hand usage and proper angles of entry into his base blocks.
Get in that guy's way.
But it sounds like it's a guy that he's a 1-2 blocker. He's a willing blocker, but he'll turn that up. Yeah, and he visited the Titans.
Day 2 talent, according to NFL.com.
Ooh,
that should see the field early with a chance to become tight end 1.
See?
So day 2, so second or third round pick for that dude.
Yeah, good blocker, not a finesse guy, not a speed demon.
Where's the guy from Utah?
Sounds like a guy that I would like.
Yep.
Yeah, he got a little bit. He's good at everything, not great at one of them.
Yep.
That's the guy I like.
I feel like, would it be a shock if Kincaid's a first-round pick?
Dalton Kincaid?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's his first-round pick. We got to ask Justin Melo. I've watched him. I think his speed is what's going to get him. He plays faster than what he times. I can't. Ooh. I like what I see on film, though, to your point.
He was their best receiver.
Man, first round. No, I just don't see that. Let's text Justin Melo on that one.
There's one tight end that's
Mayer.
This project. Everybody's saying the Cowboys are going to take him to make up for the
Schultz.
for Dalton Schultz that they lost.
Well, I don't know, man. Just depends who's off the board. Oh, I was going to ask about that guy too, the edge guy from Kansas State. Yeah. So I have them all these guys written down. I can't even pronounce his last name.
All right, I'll get to number 3 because it's a guy that I think we all like. But we got phone calls who want to weigh in on this. Steve in Nashville up first on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Steve, what do you think about all this stuff?
Gentlemen, what a gorgeous day. Blaine, you think you got a headache when you heard the last name Levis, man. Oh, my God. So look, we can. I'll be glad when it's all over with, so we can stop talking about it and go, hey, we can bring this guy in on Monday next week and interview and see how he does. Wouldn't you rather pick a lineman that you know is going to be there and you know will be good? Broderick Jones is going to be there. Okay?
If he is,
the only guy that destroyed Will Anderson. I'm a huge Alabama fan. He's the only guy that destroyed Will Anderson. I'd take him tomorrow. But don't you want to fix everything? Then, I agree with Blaine. I've said this for years calling you guys. Fannihill's done. He's reached his ceiling. I hate to say that. Maybe he's got some stock in the draft. You can get a 4th rounder and something else out of him. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But as far as jumping up and getting somebody Levis or Richardson, I sincerely hope that Toss Vrabel, whatever you're calling him now, really looks at everything else. Get the line fixed. Keep Tannehill a year. Let him go. See how? Yeah. Oh, there you go. And fix the line, and then say next year there's a bunch of good quarterbacks coming out. Michael Penix is my favorite out of all of them. You got to change your protection. He's a lefty, but you're going to have plenty of time. You probably have more capital next year with everything you're reworking this year, and just rebuild it this year, except for your skill position. And let's go get some damn receivers.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good day.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, that's good stuff. It's hard to disagree with that. Stick with Tannehill for one more year. Get everything else fixed. Well, Will Anderson Jr., he didn't say this, though. Will Anderson said Darnell Wright was the best guy he would have guessed.
Yeah.
Not Broderick Jones.
On SportsCenter or Get Up, which is SportsCenter. But just
nationally. And that's the second time I heard him say that because somebody asked him that question.
Yeah, he said it without even
I
thinking
want more,
about it.
though. See, I want more. I'm like, Lucas, why was he the best? Give me something. Give me something that he gave you that was different than everybody else. What he gave you some issues. I want more. I want more. Because that was eye-opening on that night.
Darnell Wright stock, we should people who bought that stock early going to cash in because
he proved to me for sure in the Senior Bowl. I was like, hey man, he's the best. He's the technician guy. He may not have been the most athletic of them all, but he was the best technician, and it was consistent over and over again.
Speaking of people who played well against Will Anderson.
Right. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's why we brought it up.
And played him more recently.
No.
Broderick Jones did not play Will Anderson last season.
Oh, he did not.
Let's bring Thomas into this discussion next. Hey, Thomas.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Thanks for taking my call, as always. I just want to say, Blaine, you remember I called a couple weeks ago, and I was asking about, maybe taking Hooker like you just said, and sounds like now you kind of coming around to what I was thinking, man.
Yeah, you might have been on it. Yeah,
I like it.
I'm afraid that he may go to like the Texans at 12 or 13. I don't want him to have him.
Right.
Oh
man,
no.
thanks, guys. I just wanted to holler at you guys.
That was because I was not really thinking he was gonna go that high. But if you believe it, go for it. You know what? Only thing that's negative about that is the first round pick. That means I'm assuming Tannehill's still there. Won't play this season if Tannehill stays healthy. So then you feel like there was no impact. But you got to look at the long haul. You may potentially have your franchise quarterback for the next 10 years. And he dropped in your lap, and that's worthy of sitting waiting for 1 year. And then you let Tannehill just kind of walk into the night.
All right, let's walk into this next break. We come back. We'll give you 3, 5, 6, and 7 round picks by Dane Brugler for the Titans. Number 3, there's a comp for him that was here that we all like from the same school and everything.
Tease us. What position?
Let's just say his comp is now in Philly. But you could get his comp and bring him in. Some really interesting stuff. We'll get to that next. We'll also take some more phone calls. Blade and Mickey.
I'm wide open.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Going through Dane Brugler's beast mock draft for the Tennessee Titans. So Will Levis at 11. They got him dropping to 11.
Titans.
Cody Malk, who has been a tackle for North Dakota State, that he would move to guard at this level.
Oh, cool.
That's Robert's doppelganger.
That's his twin.
It is. Third-round pick, number 72 overall, Jonathan Mingo, wide receiver, Ole Miss. Go ahead and sign me up for that. Third round? Yeah, sign me up.
I think I'm with that. Yeah, he does look like A.J. Brown in this film. He did maybe not quite as fast. But, he looks on point, man. I like his physicality. Nice, tall, too. He's a little taller, too. He's like 6'1", 2. Yeah, he's a big guy.
He's full-sized.
Yeah, he's a combat catcher, physical. Yeah. He's just right what the Titans like. Yeah. And Coach Moore. Rob Moore.
Big guy like him.
Mm-hmm.
Similar physical traits. Jonathan Mingo, I'm all about that action, boss. All right, no fourth-round pick. So in the fifth round, Tyrus Wheat, the edge from Mississippi State. So one of Big Jeff's old buddies would join the team.
Oh, Mississippi State. Oh, they went to, yeah. Yeah, he was big, strong. I think when I did my research, I'm trying to recall off the top of my head, he was a JUCO transfer.
Yep.
And he got bigger over time when he first got there. I think he was only like 245. He's kind of got bigger, but he can move. So they, had him rushing the passer, standing up. I saw him do, get a pick on tip ball. And so this guy can really play.
6'2", 263, 17 sacks, 25 and a half tackles for loss in 3 seasons after leaving JUCO.
Yeah. So he's a solid player. Oh, okay, here we go, right here. Yeah, 6'3". He ran a 4.65, very versatile, can play in the 3-4 scheme outside. He had 21 sacks in 3 seasons. Physical, hitter, thumper. He's all that in a bag of nuts. No. This guy, I like what I saw out of him. Real physical presence about him. So I think he'll be a really good fit. Man, for a fifth-round pick, if they get a guy like this, I think he contribute. I mean, this guy is better than Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a better player.
The next guy, 6th-round pick. Now, this dude's interesting. He started a bunch of games at Notre Dame as Jarrett Patterson. They're listing him as a center guard in this Brugler mock draft. He basically played center for 3 years, and then he switched to left guard as a senior at Notre Dame. He's played a lot of football.
Yeah, I think he's going to be more of a center. He was okay. There were some things, I just, taking a center, I guess this is the right spot. I feel like I could get a player that's not drafted to be almost as good as him.
Okay.
But, I mean, I'm not taking nothing away.
Like Brewer, undrafted guy.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think this guy has a little more size. What was his size again? Jarrett Patterson.
I want to say it was 305.
Yeah.
Let me see. Jarrett Patterson, 6'4", 310.
Yeah. So I really like his prospects as a center more so than a guard. But he could definitely flex out and do both. Yeah. I think that's probably because I looked at his grade. Remember I said my grade was a 5'9"? Mm-hmm. That was my actual grade for drafting. His draft grade is 5.85. So that means he's barely draftable, just like I was. So that's where I'm getting to the but see, all the guys, even undrafted, it's going to be a big old whole bunch of guys that's all in that same boat. So you want to, you probably lean towards a guy that played at a big program like Notre Dame, and you feel like that's a safer bet than maybe a guy from Ball State. So, and also reason why I say center, he had shorter arms, just like they're using against Skoronski a little bit. So I think run blocking talent really good. Has some limitations with protection. I don't know how athletic he looked. So this is a guy. It was a question mark for me. I mean, I'm okay with it, but man, I guess in your 6th round, maybe that's what you're thinking you're going to get.
The last guy was Anthony Johnson, a safety out of Iowa State. Yeah. He moved to safety from cornerback as a senior. He started 54 games, which is like the most in the history of Iowa State, and I think the most in the history of the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
interesting dude. But he remind you
No,
were
he's in
guys
the Big
with
12.
Yes, Iowa State Big 12. Sorry.
No.
You start at corner, move to safety.
Yeah, he was a boundary corner. What I like about him is he's got some skills to him that you got to have now in the NFL because of all the passing. So he's got some cover skills to him. He's got some physicality to him, and I think he's going to end up being more like that cover safety guy, which I really like. I think a lot of those guys have a lot of success in this league. So yeah, I really like this prospect. I think he can even play nickel in a pinch. I think he could. Yeah, kind of like Hooker, but maybe a little more poor man's Hooker. As far as remember, Hooker played nickel a couple games, and he did a really good job. And this guy has that in his background from playing corner, nickel, and now safety. So yeah, 5'11", 200 guy, 205, something like that. So yeah, I like this prospect. I think he ran like a 4.5, solid player. I think he's gonna be okay.
No corner in this draft.
Yeah, I don't agree with any of that.
That was my last point on it.
I think the Titans are going to take a corner. If they don't take a corner, they must be expecting a rash of veteran corners to get released.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of rumor about my man Gooden with the Dolphins that he may get released.
Oh.
And I think this guy his defense speed is starting to show somewhere. But last year, and this is why guys hate playing injured. He played with a strained hamstring groin. And people now are saying, oh, he lost his defense speed. Well, he was trying to fight through and play through it for this team. So, I mean, just imagine him and Jalen Ramsey on the same team. Well, why would I want to split that up? But that's what is out there. So if you're getting a guy, let's just say maybe not a guy as his ilk, but a starter who is getting cut because of pay, you may do that if they don't draft a corner. And reason why I say that is Bolton is the last year, and based off of the conversation that Vrabel said about his injury history, I just don't think even if he doesn't miss a game this year, I just don't think he's a guy that they want in the fold. Once you have an opinion about a player, like these coaches don't ever change. It never changes. Because his history tells you, well, he's going to miss 4 or 5 games a year. Gets banged up. Good player. Oh, dang, we got to go?
Yeah.
Oh, crapper.
2 hours, man. It goes by in a blink.
Man.
I'm sorry to people on the phone.
I know, I'm sorry. Cornbread.
Hey, give us 10 seconds.
10 seconds. What you got, Cornbread?
What you got?
Hey, guys, I'm thinking the Titans need to take a lineman at 11. And as far as Hendon Hooker goes, I think the Saints need to pick him up with that first-round draft pick, as we both know, all of us know Derek Carr's is a 2-year bridge to a new quarterback. And I think that Joe Milton's actually going to keep getting better, and he'd be a good fit for the Titans next year.
All right, Cornbread.
Oh, there you go. We heard it all
here. Didn't go the whole day
here.
without a Milton mention.
Yeah, no doubt.
We got to go, though.
In the meantime.
In between time.
Peace.